My colleague Shivani, who is in conversation with Ashish Chauhan of the NSE.
Have their own strategies. Other independent blocks like China or India will have their own strategies, and so it remains to be seen finally how it settles down with the US, but also across ASEAN and many other blocks. And so it is just what I call a beginning of a change where India is not been a very large part over the last 30-40 years of the trade portion of it, that is the manufactured goods trade, because we have been more in services, but we are getting an opportunity to realign our manufacturing to ensure that when the world is trying to move away from China, India has a legitimate claim, and of course with its skilled workforce and low labor cost, we should be able to make a good dent in the manufactured exports also.
Okay, so FII outflows was also some of the concerns, was one of the concerns in the past few months for the Indian market. Has that stabilized, and what do you think in terms of after Operation Sindoor? You know, a lot of talk about that was happening. How do you feel about that?
In a way, the FPIs were moving away because of the strengthening of interest rate in US for last almost a year. This month onwards, I think April onwards, the FPIs have started investing in India in a big way. There is also a talk about moving away from dollar. And so there are emerging markets like India, which is not so emerging because we are now the fourth largest in the world. But effectively, lots and lots of foreign capital is going to pour into different markets which are trustworthy. Currently, a lot of inflows are being seen in Japanese assets for the time being, which is moving away from US. But some benefits are coming into India too. So that's how you see a positive sort of inflows by FPIs into India over the last 1.5 months.
So from a sector perspective, defense has been doing very well post Operation Sindoor, and obviously the budget allocation that we saw in this year's budget. How do you see sectors panning out? Do you think there is some bubble, or do you think some sectors are going to come up?
In a way, whenever such what I call path-breaking situations happen, a lot of companies get involved, and naturally India has actually changed the paradigms of war which had come about over the last 10 years, which was largely drone-driven. And the first time over last 10 years, a country has proven that over a border of 5,000 kilometers plus from Ladakh to Kutch, India has been able to protect itself from the low-cost drones, which is itself a unique achievement. And I think the new phase of the way the battles are fought are going to be basically fought on the way India has now defined, or India has redefined. And that's where many of the Indian companies which have provided this equipments to Indian armed forces would also have their equipments in demand across the world. Of course, within Indian armed forces also, but across the world. And that's where I think you might see some movements. But overall, we don't look at individual companies. What we see is some of these things happen because of the way the technologies change, the way the frameworks change, and clearly India has redefined the concept of battles and wars, over which was coming up over the last 10 years in some ways.
The last question from you is that there is a lot of talk today about the expiry day circular from SEBI. What is NSE's take on it? Is there a day that you have decided?
No, we have not been aware on. I mean, we are getting it from you, but whatever the decisions of SEBI, we will have to go by.
And sir, what about the IPO? Where has that point reached?
Again, we are awaiting our no objection certificate. We have applied to the regulator, and as and when that comes, we can do the further process of preparing the DRHP and later on filing it with the regulator again and things like that. So it's a still work in progress.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us here on CNBC-TV. Thanks a lot. Thank you.